Welcome everyone to our latest tutorial, and today we're going to be speaking about how to create an architectural 3D maquette. So this is something totally different what we've done in the past, and it's a sort of tutorial walkthrough, so it's going to be somewhat quick, but it's also going to kind of give you some ideas, some lights into the process and how you can do it. And of course you can always pick up these files on our website. We have some premium files that you can download where you get everything, and you have your free version where you can get part of it for those of you that are more advanced or you just want to get into it and accompany the tutorial. Before that, I want to take the pleasure of showing you a couple of our latest projects that we've been up to. Some of those include our Egypt Science Park for Gansum Architects Korea, which managed 4th place, so well done to them. Our Tower for Skidmore, Owings and Merrill, which was also a lot of fun, and a couple other little things that I'm sure you'll enjoy quite a lot. But I did want to bring your attention to our Art of Arcanine section, and again, this is just showing that we always have this very close relationship with art, and this is just a couple of the experiments, things that we're not creating to be architectural representations. Some of them, others are just meant to be fun, others are a bit of what's going on with Arcanine Learn, and it's just experimentations, and I really encourage you to take a look at that. But I did want to show you something really interesting, which was our user gallery from arcaninelearn.com. Now, it's fantastic to see some of these submissions have been submitted from people all over the world. It is amazing. I cannot believe, you know, we have Canada, we have Egypt, we have Colombia, we have Italy. It's amazing the world we live in and how the internet can influence people in this way. And I'd just like to say a big thanks to everyone who shared. And if you believe that we've some way influenced your work, or you have something you'd like to show it. Don't be afraid, just go for it. Send it to info@arcaninelearn.com. Now let's get on to business. Now, where did this idea to do an architectural maquette come from? Well, we've talked about illustrating plans, sections, map painting. We've pretty much covered a lot of information in regards to architectural visualization. I thought now let's do something a little different, something more 3D-ish, and showing you that it's not just 2D. Also, you also can have a lot of fun with 3D. So the first thing I did was actually look into investigating what my subject matter was, and it was maquettes and architectural maquettes of the 3D type, of the realistic type, and kind of look at a couple of ideas, have a look at different styles, different materials, different types of lighting, and really starting to get my head around this type of thing. And I came up with the mood board. And this was the images that really fascinated me. So a little bit of that depth of field, that lighting here, you know, this coarse texture, this old texture, and this wood particularly with this glass. And now that really was kind of the key, I would say that was the key visual that really sparked it all. It had something there, and I thought, okay, what can we do? We can really build up from this. And as you saw in the intro, this was the outcome of the images. And it was fantastic, it was a lot of fun. So what will you need for this? You will need 3D Studio Max 2015, 2016 or 2017, so one of the later ones. Corona Renderer 1.5, now guys, it is amazing, it is fantastic, I know it's one of the latest ones. And Adobe Photoshop for the post-production. So those are the main things you will need. So let's get this kicked off. So here we go, and we have our model in front of us that's kindly been sent to us by a friend of mine at CVDB Architects in Portugal, and the link is below in the video. And as you can see online, this is the base. So we've organized everything into layers. We've basically done just, you know, the basic setup work, and it's very clean and efficient. And again, I focused that we're after something like clean, clear, efficient, and quick. We're not going to delve into settings and all these, you know, very technical things. They are important, yes, but they would require a lot more time and an intensive course. But you can download the file and get the file if you need and are interested in it. So nothing commences without a good reference, and a good reference is many times the best savior for any image. And I've just brought up a couple that I really liked, and I really liked especially the lighting, the mood, the texturing, the different colors, and this all just gets my brain flowing and gets my brain into really a flurry of activity that really just wants to create. So let's start creating. So as you can see, I've added just a few cameras, and I've actually added override material. So that override material is going to basically just give me my render, my simple render. So let's start by creating our corona light, and I've created just this light over here. And let's just start by setting off a simple render. And here we go, a very simple render that we've just set off, as you can see. Now, we're not going to talk about this light mix just yet. Maybe on the next slide we'll start to talk about it. But as you can see, there's no ambient light, there's nothing else, there's just a simple direct light and this very simple plain texture without any shine, without any reflection. It's just got the wireframe. I kind of started thinking about it. I really wanted to add this this almost studio-esque style of lighting, this 3-point lighting, where you have your field lights and you have your other two lights. And one of the people who really speaks about this is actually Nikos from Creative Lighting, and he really speaks about this 3-point lighting in a really nice way in his Creative Lighting Club. So I'll actually leave that with him, and I'll do this just intuitively at the moment. So let's get that lighting. So next slide. So I want my warm light coming from there, and that's kind of the front of the building. So let's get a nice blue light in there now to kind of contrast that up. And that blue light, let's put that up there. And actually, let's create another one down here. So we're going to have all this light bouncing around, and all that light is going to actually create this nice effect. And let's go to let's try this out for size. Okay, so crazy that it's that blue light's looking really nice, but it's completely over dominating that other light. So let's control this a little bit better. Now the best way we can do it is either we turn down these, and we just turn down the intensity maybe to 200, and that's not. And let's just give a different intensity so we get different types of light. We'll keep that at 400, and we'll see like a predominant yellow light. So let's hit render. Okay, that now seems a little nicer. So okay, see all that light bouncing around. So that's actually simulating like we're in a studio and we have no exterior light, and that's really starting to come together. So I've refined my lights, and this is the render that came out. So I kind of just neutralized them a little bit more, and you know, got those fill lights working a bit better in the right positions that I wanted. And I think that's looking really nice already. Now, another important thing, again, referring back to Ref, is this depth of field effect that we have, and this scale. It just feels different the way these cameras are set up. And if you white card the model like we've done, we basically override the material and we excluded the glass. So if you just select the glass that you have and you just add to exclude, so as you can see, again, the material very simple on the glass, nothing special. And if we just add that to the exclusion object, which it's already here, so it hasn't showed up, that will exclude the glass. Now that's already looking really nice, but there's a little trick that we can do, and the Corona is especially fantastic for that, and that is light mix. Light mix is one of the best features you can get in Corona 1.5, and we've fallen in love with it. It's really amazing. It's fantastic, and you won't hear me say that many times about a 3D application, but it's really made to be like how the artist wants the image to be, and it's taking a bit of what Maxwell was doing and applying it a little bit into this. So it's very interesting on what they're kind of working at. Now let's get that working. So if we want to add a light select, and this is one of the things that they've added in this version 1.5, you'll see that it says light select included elements. So I'm going to call this extra stuff. Now if you'll notice, I'm going to add those extra stuff. So I'm going to come out and I'm going to add just this light extra stuff. So I'm going to come here and press the plus, or I just have that selected and press the plus, and it will add it, that light select pass. Now that's another important one, and I've also added bloom and glare, but again, that's for later. We'll also add our light mix pass, which is very important. So we'll come here to our light mix, if we can find it, light mix, there we go. We add that pass, and that will enable us to do this light mix that we have here. Now I've already rendered that, and it comes up like this. So the more you add, the more lights you add, passes, you can add multiple lights, the more that it will count. So let's look at that light select pass, exactly what it is. So I selected that blue light, and that's this one. Now see what it does. You can neutralize it completely or not, but let's go to our light select first. Now what we were doing in post before with the light selects, we can actually do in the 3D itself, and that's incredible. So again, the yellow light, and it's just a direct yellow light, and how it bounces around. It's incredible, the global illumination on this. And we can go to our beauty pass, and where they all come together. Now notice this. This is the great part. So I can neutralize it completely. I can add it. I can come here. I can change the whole color of it. It is incredible. So I can go to a very kind of accentuated blue and yellow, and just I can do whatever. The sky's the limit. It's incredible. I just can't believe how they came up with this so well. So those are our light selects. Now we still have a couple of lights that we want to add, and actually I might do this light select stuff extra with those lights. So what we want to do is kind of illuminate these interior lights. So let's get those interior lights functioning. Now just bring this over here so it's not occluding, and let's create a corona light. I can do it like this just to be a bit easier, and it's aligned, and I'll just push it in and rotate it around completely. So okay, so I've already done that with a couple lights, which I'll unhide. So those lights are the building lights, and here they are. I've just switched them on. And now you'll notice they're now switched on, and I'll just Shift G to hide the geometry, and I'll add these into my light selects pass, and I'll call that extra stuff. So I can just grab them all and just add them all there, and they're all there. Okay, Shift G, let's unhide geometry, and let's go back to our camera and let's set that off. And you'll see another lighting pass show up. And again, we can do whatever we want with it. We can play with the other ones. The more that we have, the more we can do. So again, that's the middle one, and that's basically, I can make a night shot from that. It's incredible the amount of things we can do with light select, and that already gives you kind of a good impression on lighting. So we're now starting with our material phase, and our material phase is really a fun one with Corona as well as lighting. So we've set up our studio lighting. Let's set up our base material, and we've had some materials created. I just wanted to quickly show you how we set this material up. And as you can see, we've just loaded our basic diffuse map, a texture that we've just downloaded off textures.com and corrected it. And we really want, the good thing is to always have that idea of what you want in your head, some reference. Now, I believe we looked into our reference board, and there was one image in particular that really caught our attention and had that dark wood. And as you can see, we're just making the wood. And the great thing about Corona is all you have to do is just instance the map along. So you've got your diffuse map, you put it into reflection, no need to black and white it, and you put it into your bump. Now we've got our very basic map setup, and that's the most important thing. Work with the basics. So we're amping that up for now to help just, have that little bit of reflection, and we're experimenting around with it also as well. Now this is one of the important things. I mean, it's really important to just have the idea of where you want to finish and what you want to do with the materials when you're creating materials. And I guess in this maquette style, another important thing is actually the scale of the material. So you'll notice that the scale, when you're looking at a maquette, it's rather large, so it's not the same thing as when you're doing aerial view and you have this very fine texture. This wood, you would hardly see it, and with just a bit of variation, you will not see the grain, but as it's a maquette, you need to see that. So now we want to create this ambient occlusion. So wherever it hits something like those building blocks, it becomes darker. So we've loaded our Corona AO into the diffuse pass, and we've kept our map, and we want to kind of just copy that over and make it darker. So that where the black is, that will be our dark area. So we have to control how dark we want that. So we've basically done a very simple thing and just loaded a, as you can see, popping up, color correction map, if I'm not in error. Yeah, exactly, color correction. We've kept it as an old submap, and we've just darkened it, darken down the saturation and the brightness and a little bit of the contrast, so you don't get that fringing or that too blackness in the material where it seems like it's burning between the blacks and the highlights. And that's going to really add extra dimension to what we're doing. And I've just kind of brought down the whole map, so I've added another color correction, and I've brought the whole thing down just a little bit, so we start to get that darker glossy wood, just like we have on the example in our material editor. Just 2 materials left of this one. So as you can see, that's going to add that little bit of extra interest, and we could go on forever, and trust me, you can go on forever in little corrections, but let's keep this relatively simple for now and really stick to the basics. So let's progress through that and start a basic render just to double check on how everything is doing. So we'll see that pop up in just a second. When we do that, let's apply firstly our image, and we've already applied a couple of materials. We're not going to get too much into the other materials. You'll see in the file what's been applied. So let's set off our render and see how this is looking. And that's coming along really nicely, and you can see how we start to build up. So that's the best way also. In the scene, let's just build up material by material. So I've textured everything, and basically this is what you'll see. So there's not many textures as the glass, and we're getting, what's happening is where we have glass, we see the light because it's enabled through the reflections. You'll notice this. If I bring this up, it's visible in refraction, sorry. So if I take that off, it will disappear and it should be okay. But I want to do something with that. Again, very simplistically, let's take what we have and make something of it, because that's the way you should always kind of work. And you see that I've created various materials, and you'll notice the ambient occlusion that we added with our material here in our scene. And again, I took it down with color correction, corona, ambient occlusion, and I color corrected the occluded color at 5 meters, so it's about that, and that all came down. So it's a very simplistic scene that's being created at the moment, and I think it's working quite well. Now the great thing is we can amp up whatever we want with our light selects. We can take them down, it's fantastic. And once you start getting into this, you can really have a lot of fun and play around with it and just get your lighting perfect. Whereas before we had to just render everything out various times, change the lighting. Now we don't have to do that anymore. So the next phase we did was and to focus in a little bit on the scale. You notice again, a very important thing is the scale at which things are applied. So this is a 1 to 50 scale or something. So you have to really make textures really big. Visually, people have to look at it and kind of understand that it is a Maquette model. Not even understand that it was done in 3D if you can, and if you have the skill for it. So important elements to do that are actually our cars and our people and our trees. Now let me just unhide these, and you'll see the people there. And these are just very simple people from SketchUp, the SketchUp warehouse, I believe. And these are the most basic that I could find, just very simple. I even took off basically the smoothing group, so they're not smooth and have this faceted look as if they'd been 3D printed. So you notice the cars, there we go. And also, let's not forget our trees. So we did put some nice trees in there. And these were just glass modules. And they're just very simple glass globes that I made, spheres that I made, and I just put like this textured cardboard or something. Nothing special, can't really see it from the area we're at and where we're rendering at. And if we render that off, so we've come to our render section, and our render section, just so you can see, we set the noise, and again, this was super quick. This is the great thing about Corona, is that we just did like 30 passes, and I believe it probably took around 30 minutes. And just cycling through our light mix pass and our beauty pass. Please note, these are different. So our light mix will actually give us the control over what we're doing, and our beauty pass is without the light mix, so we can't control the lights. And again, just experimenting around with bloom and glare and seeing that, again, this experimentation is driven from a constraint of the project, which is we actually had this white light at the back. And instead of fiddling around and getting quite technical, which we could, and that's important as well, don't forget that, we just decided to kind of occlude this or make it into this bloom glare effect. And Corona, I guess, even in that aspect, is really great because you can really get this bloom and glare. And now just cycling around the other passes, just so you can see your Z-Depth light select. So you see, I think we have like 6 passes, 7 passes that we actually we have in there, but we didn't use many of them because Corona already comes out so well out of the box, and we haven't gone into too much technical stuff. And then we have our post-production folder. Now we've basically just loaded up what you saw on screen. Was just a quick old render, and now what you're seeing is all our passes loaded up, and we want to really blur out that background. So we've put the Z depth on top of everything, and we'll just control select in our channels path and just control select over it, and that will give us the selection to our Z depth. Okay, so we're going to create that mask as you saw there. Now this is sped up, but you can slow it down in YouTube, and we just selected that. Now I like to do this in post-production. You can do it in Corona, but I really like the control you have, and it's kind of real time and just, yeah, lovely. So you go into our lens blur from our blur and filters, and now you notice that our alpha 1 channel that we just created, and you'll see that alpha 1 on the right, and you'll see there source alpha 1. That alpha 1 is really what's going to control and tell Photoshop how to go about its job. So we can control our focal distance. Now you'll be able to see much better with a file once you load up those PSDs, just how much you can control the focal distance. And now we can really blur out the background, so we can control where we want the focus, and then we can just amp up the radius to really give us that blurred out effect. And again, it's all about just trying to understand what you want to create. In the end of the day, we all have this references in our head, and we all know how something should look. So the more you practice, the more you see, the more that these things tend to come together. I'm not looking at references constantly. I'm trying to also create, and that creation part where you just lose the reference for a bit is really important part. It also gives you the ability to create something new. It's all kind of coming together in your mind, what you're seeing. So we'll notice the people, the scale of the objects. You'll notice how that blur really does help the macro mode and get into that maquette size. So once we have all that, we've loaded up our Nik color effects collection, and this is fantastic because we can really experiment around quickly, and it's free. It should be down in the description below for download, a link. And now you'll see that we can actually experiment around with this kind of analog type look, and this is a lot of fun as well. It's fantastic because you can get the look you want. You can add the noise, you can really turn around the colors, and now just experimenting around. This is not really a program that I open every day, but again, it's just once you open a program, it's understanding what it can do, what it can't do, and where you want to go with it. So this is kind of somewhat intuitive, the way to work around with it, but you have to understand that you cannot burn too much the colors, you cannot burn too much the darks. So that's all based on kind of practice once again. So we're adding a few scratches, and this will really just add that more photographic analog feel to it. Amping up the vignetting, so we know we want to kind of create that center of focus in the middle. Now I think, looking back on this, I think we went a bit too overboard. Okay, I think we just overdid it, but hey, this is meant to be fun, so let's exaggerate it, let's try out. Now I'm kind of happy with that, but I believe that we could put some blue cinematic look in the shadow. So we go to our blue channel in our curves properties, and we just lift that up. Now I believe that's lifted everything up a little bit. That's starting to look a little nicer. I kind of like that at the moment. So we add just a little more contrast to it, and that will really help pop those whites and also help pop those blacks. So we get that nice contrast, that nice filmic contrast. Now all the piece was quite warm, but it was quite important to bring out a little bit of warmth in that central piece, and that central piece will really, even if it just has that little bit of warmth, it will direct our eye to it. Now we've got the vignette, we've got the darkness around, but if we add that little bit of warmth, it's just another element that's working towards bringing that a little more into the center of focus. So once we've done that, we're basically nearing the end of our production phase in Photoshop, and you'll see it's again very simple. We're just fiddling around with minor things, but we have the whole content there, and the whole content already pretty much came out of Corona, which is kind of fun. Now again, I do think we went a little bit overboard, and we may have made this a little bit too black, and we could have toned it down, but hey, it's an experimental piece, so again, it's to have fun with and to really exaggerate a little bit. I guess exaggeration can be good. So just adding our final touches. So we've Control A and just selected everything, and just a little bit of unsharpening to bring out that detail. Now that we just experimented, see how that works. generally always add a bit of unsharpened to all our pieces. And this is our previous version, and this is our more extreme version that we did. So you judge which one is best. I'm not quite sure, but I do like the extreme version quite a bit. So that brings us to the end of our tutorial, and I hope you've enjoyed it. As you can see on screen, this is what we came up with. Remember, you can get these files, so you can get a premium version, or you can get a simplified version, which is free for everyone. Check out our website, arcanine.com, and also arcanine.com to keep up with the latest pieces that we're creating. But also subscribe to us on YouTube and check out our other tutorials. I hope you've liked this tutorial. This is Pedro Fernandez from Arcanine and arcanine.com. And don't forget, do it in post. Cheers, have a great week, and enjoy, everyone.